in the den of iniquity. Vicinity no pretty, calamity fi hit we any moment. What a pity, tomorrow never certain. What dwells behind the curtain? The face of evil lurking, with that shifty eyes averting. It's not a steady bubble that either pop or topple. Many will fall and stumble. Let the dozers gather rubble. From LA to Colorado, Guinea to Burkina Faso. Cannons could reach the towers and the troops will storm the castle. I say, run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. So run, run, come, make we get it. Calling all your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. I say, run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. Lord, run, run, come, make we get it. Calling all your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. With the rubble steady rising, and hearts are compromising. Convictions here are stifling, making evil appetizing. The fists are steady forming, and countenance is falling. Defenses are withdrawing, possibilities are falling. In these circumstances, evil will make advances. Pick up your sword and lances, and be sure to take your stances. Victory is never promised, the battle is upon us. Gather the brave and honest, and the righteous in your corners.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me loud and clear? Are we coming in loud and clear? Welcome to another episode of Case Closed, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Highest level conversation on the most relevant topics in this space, ladies and gentlemen. As you come in, go ahead and click that like button, share, subscribe if you have not. As usual, we got an all-star panel. And by the way, you can catch this on Dr. Thunder's channel or on my channel. Alternates, happens from time to time. We try to make it regular. But how's it going, everybody, on this interesting and momentous occasion? How's it going, LAR?
Man, it's good, man. Power in Houston.
Indeed. Okay, so 2 weeks ago, we talked about the election, right? And our attention has been drawn again towards the presidential candidates. In this time, it's about the recent assassination attempt. Okay. Now, we're going to lay down some facts regarding that thing. But as I always like to say about these things, this is not a substitute for you learning about the facts yourself. Okay. Now, the panelists are free to drop in facts and dispute facts as they see fit in answering the questions, right, that they bring up. And I would like to, and this is for the panelists, it's not about convincing other panelists. It's about talking to the audience and addressing the topic that has been put down by the moderator, right? We're not going after each other. You're not going to convince Ramil of anything. He's already got his mind made up. Ain't that right, Ramil?
I got an open mind.
All right. Well, in that case, let's get right into this. I want to lay down a few facts. And my first question to the audience, right, or to the panel is about your reaction, right? Your reaction to this thing when it happened and how it happened, okay? Because you see, in 2016, when Trump, won the election, it was a big surprise to many people, right? And some people felt like they were in some kind of a Twilight Zone situation, if you will. And it would seem like this event here that we're seeing, well, the fact that Trump is actually running and being nominated and has a decent chance of winning. Plus, we see this first kind of attempt in a long while. I know there have been attempts at the life of like people like Nancy Pelosi and certain other types of people, but former president and whatnot, that has not happened in a long time. Okay, so basically, I'm just going to go ahead and lay down a few facts here. Unless you've been under a rock, you should already know a bunch of this. Former U.S. President Donald Trump narrowly escaped an assassination attempt at a political rally on Saturday, and this was in rural Pennsylvania, you could say, right? And here's a blow-by-blow, just generally of what happened. Dressed in white, dark blazer, and a bright MAGA cap, Trump was railing against immigration. Interesting. When shots rang out at 6:08 p.m., that's 2208 military time, GMT. Take a look at what happened, he said. His words cut off by 4 shots in quick succession. Trump grabbed his right ear as repeated shouts of "get down" were heard before 5th and 6th shot. President Trump crouched, right? He crouched down behind the lectern as Secret Service agents moved in around him. Screams were heard in the crowd. Within 4 seconds, 4 shots were fired, prompting more supporters to get down while additional agents rushed on the stage. Now, we know that one person was killed in addition to the sniper, the shooter, the attempted assassin. And there were 2 other people that are injured. We don't know their state. We don't know what's going to happen. But so it is a tragedy. It's a tragic situation, and our hearts goes out. But let me start with you, Dr. Thunder. What were your thoughts, your initial reaction when you saw this? You sent me this link yesterday or 2 days ago, and I'm ahead over here. I'm a few hours ahead. I'm in GMT actually. I'm right there at 0:00. So I'm ahead of you guys in Africa. You sent me this link. I was in bed and I was like, "Is this a joke?" No, it wasn't a joke. What was your reaction to this, Dr. Thunder?
Yeah, so I got it from, I found out from Keep It 100. He sent me a Facebook message, and so then I went and started, doing some searching things, and then when I was able to confirm that it was true, and then I logged into a sort of Fox News or whatever live stream, and then an ABC live stream, um, uh, and just to see what was going on. And yes, it was true. Blase, blase. A couple reactions I had. I sent it to you. I sent it to my wife actually, and my wife says to me, because I called her because sometimes she doesn't get her messages on her phone, and so I called her and I said, what was going on, and she says back to me, that actually a few days ago she had a dream that Trump got shot, that there was an assassination attempt, that he got shot. So that was interesting. But I started thinking of, okay, so what are the ways that this possibly could happen? They're supposed to have security. They're supposed to have X, Y, and Z. So I think the way that they did this was a 3D printed a gun, probably a gun that just shot maybe two rounds or something like that, and that the first 2 shots were the attempted assassin shooting, and then the remaining shots were the Secret Service or whoever, the security, eliminating the would-be assassin. So that's why there were all of the other shots. So I think only a couple of the shots actually came from the would-be assassin. And the 3D printed thing is pretty crazy now, because they have these. You can literally print a gun. It's no metal parts, and then you can you have them in different places. You go through metal detectors and like this, and then you can reassemble, right? And then okay, now you've got a couple rounds you put in this thing, so it's not going to be particularly accurate, right? So I saw the one of the experts on Fox News talking about how the assassin was probably going for a headshot, right? And so, I mean, anybody that's accurate with a reasonable weapon, even a long-range weapon, Trump was not moving around and he was easily visible. So I mean, there's a lot of things that were kind of going through my head, but the biggest thing I thought was, Trump derangement syndrome caused this. That was like the first thing that went through my head. You have a lot of people that just really hate this dude, no matter what, and so likely folks that think that they are justified in attempting to take out take him out. They think it's a better scenario for the country and stuff. They know that Biden is a lost cause after that first debate, and they're talking about removing this guy and everything. And 4 months is forever. If he sounds bad now, he's going to sound worse. So those are a few of my initial thoughts.
Okay. Kaizo, you want to give us your initial reaction to when you saw this? What you thought?
Yeah. Yeah, so I think first of all, right, I woke up somewhere, I don't know, late at night, and I scrolled through my thing, and
You don't know where you was at? What the hell?
say that again, Ramon.
You don't know where you was at? You said you woke up somewhere in the middle of the night. Sound like you was drugged, like a passport, bro.
Oh, right. I'm in Nairobi.
Oh man,
That just sounded
Well,
crazy to me. You said I woke up somewhere in the middle of the night. It just sounded crazy to me. That's all.
yeah. That's a story for another day. But I woke up and I looked through my my YouTube, and I saw something interesting. I was like, okay, Trump assassination attempt. I click on the video. I saw it. It grazed his ear. And what's kind of interesting is kind of responding to Dr. Thunder and his wife. It was actually another Mzungu, right, who actually had a premonition, a dream, a while back of the exact situation, right? It scraped his ear, just touched it, and yeah, he survived. And apparently Trump's going to win the elections. And I think this is a very patriotic moment, especially when he rose his hand in the air right after the event, or rather during the event. I think that kind of does create this kind of okay, Trump is a patriot sort of thing, which is what he's always been running on, right? American jobs for Americans, he's anti-globalist and all that kind of stuff. So some people claim, and even I think I see some relevance in this, that this attempt was either from globalist or anti-globalist. I'm not too sure which one, because it could be either, right? If it's an attempt, then it was a deliberate miss, but I think that's kind of hard to get away. I think I'm more prone to believe that this was a real attempt. The guy looks to me like an incel. If you look at his facial structure, it looks like someone who's gone through generations of inbred. It's very flat. All the features, right? This is just someone who is not intellectually looking sound. So I think they got someone who was going to do it. He was incompetent. He couldn't get the job done in the end. So I think he's a globalist. I think it's a shadow government who want to get rid of Trump from.
Was he MK Ultra?
Well, I'm not too sure, right?
So we got incel, we got globalist, we got Trump derangement syndrome, we got it all. Now, Ramil, your initial reaction to this here, and by the way, the shot, of him, which is right behind us, right, where he lifted his hand up, and then the American flag can be seen in a particular angle, right kind of above his hand. That's like a great shot, almost like second to like Iwo Jima, for example, right? Like it was just one of those things, and he had the right
That's going
instincts
to
at
be
that
in
moment.
every white bar. That picture's going to be in every white bar in the country. That shit's going to be on every white barbershop. Going to be black and white. He going to make a killing selling those portraits. Signed Trump pictures of that going for at least $5 million. So initial reaction, I just can't say I'm surprised. Like Dr. Dunn said,
Is it just me, or is Ramil Borgin?
Yeah, Ramil was Borgin pretty hard.
Yeah, Ramil, I know you're driving, so you're probably going through an area right now where the reception is not so great. Can you hear me, Ramil?
Yeah, come back.
I'll come back to you.
What about now? What about
I think you're still a little bit in the woods.
Okay.
But I'll come back right to you after we hear from Nagone here.
You come back.
Okay, sounds good. The picture in every white bar. Go ahead, Nagone. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I wasn't really too surprised about it. It's been a highly charged, how would I say, environment. There's been a lot of talk for a while about, really coming from the right about civil war, and there's going to be a lot of, and Trump was saying earlier, if you kind of don't support me, and I'll let my people loose, and things could really go bad if we think this election's not going right, or if they're trying to steal it and all. So he's been talking a lot of violence, and we've seen a lot of violence certainly from the right wing. So I would say without question, the environment that he and his people to a large extent really kind of helped to foment or to help to really kind of support really in so many ways kind of came back on them. And when we start to look at the right wing, you had those in the right wing as well who are not Trump really supportive. Some think he's not really a real conservative and so forth. So you have that kind of schism inside of the party currently. And, you have people like Mike Pence and them who are not going to be supporting Trump and so forth. So you have those elements inside of the Republican Party currently that don't support him. And then some of those people are also kind of extremists. So you have that element involved. And, no one really has properly ID'd that. They don't really want to touch it so close as white males and so forth. But you have that really going on. And that's something that has not really ever really been checked. But that's something that certainly, Trump and his minions really kind of help to gas up. So you have an environment of political extremism, people who are, I would say, prone to do violence because there is a lot of talk of violence, and they've really brought that about. They really
hold on, Nagone. Let me ask you something. Something. And I know this question is about, and I'll get to you right back to you, Ramil, after we after Nagone
All right,
lands.
that's cool.
Okay, cool. So, but Nagone, let me ask you something. So you've talked about the Republicans that don't like Trump, and you talk about Trump and his rhetoric, right?
Yeah.
How about all the rhetoric about how he is Hitler? How about all the hoaxes about how he called it's the fine people hoax, which if you play the video, anybody with two eyes, you know what he said and you know what he didn't say. And all the things that are on the other side. Many people, celebrities even, have said, hey, I wish somebody would make him a martyr, somebody would assassinate, blah, blah, blah. What are your thoughts about what's coming from that side?
I think we've been in a politically charged environment, but when we really start to talk a lot more about violence, we've seen a lot more from the right. I mean, it just is what it is. So I think they've talked a lot more. I've been in other forums where, you hear people talking civil war all day long, and that's coming really from the right wing. In fact, the guy who was heading up this Project 2025 saying, hey, listen, Trump looks like he may win. Don't get in the way, because if you guys try the left, there's going to be violence. And so you hear other people talking that. So there's so there is a lot of that in the air. And I think and when you start to talk violence a lot, what that does is it leads to the unhinged being more apt to act. And that's, I think, what we're actually seeing. So I think the environment has been such that it's been cultivated to produce something like this. And it came back on him. He wasn't really expecting that to jump up and bite him like that. But that's what happens when you set a lot of those dogs loose without really trying to tamp it down. So when we look at that, we don't see a lot of that violence talk and, civil war and all that really coming from the left. We really don't see that. Left has been kind of soft in certain kind of ways. But that's generally what we see. So that's generally the type of environment that we've looked at the political environment here, and you know, you hear a lot of that talk, and that's really what happened. That's what I see really happening. So was I surprised by this? Not really. And also the Brain Trust and a few other places, we've actually spoken about this before, how this could actually come about. But there's nothing that I certainly would like to see. I think political violence is unnecessary. Beat the man at the polls. Try to shoot somebody in the head or twist their wig, as one would say, to gain to gain advantage. I certainly don't think that's going to work. Will this be decisive in him being elected? No, it will not. This will feed off at a certain period of time, and if it's not really dealt with properly, it could actually look to backfire on them in some ways. So they have to be somewhat careful about how they soft stroke this, down the line. But there's still a lot of game zone left, and I do not see this as being decisive at all. I think certainly Biden's response and his speech on this was very good. So we're going to see how this kind of shapes out, and there's going to be a lot of talk about this, about really hyping up, talking about violence, and really egging on the unhinged. And yes, you can have the unhinged on both sides. There's no question.
We'll get into it a little bit more, including how because I thought Biden did a good job. I think it helped Biden. Biden looked presidential. He looked like on the ball. It wasn't early in the day either when he came out and he gave that speech. Interesting things happened there on his side, and we'll get into some of the specifics regarding the political ramifications and who egged who on and whatnot. But Ramil is about to tell us how this is going to help him with the black vote. Isn't that right, Ramil, with the street cred and all that kind of stuff? I kid a little bit, but go ahead. What are your reactions, Ramil?
Well, actually, there's actually some truth to that. I know people say that's coon talk when you say, hey, Trump is relatable to black people because of the situation he's going through. But when you look at it objectively, he is going through what a black man will go through in this country a lot of times. Rigged trials, okay, attempts on your life from your own kind. Just like a black man have to worry about getting killed by a black person, Trump got to worry about white people. White people don't even like him. All right, with this situation, there's no way Trump loses this election coming up. They done made him a martyr, and the reason why this is happening is because the liberals do not know how to take an L. They cannot take an L. They are little kids. They cheat, just like they did the last election. Now they want to try to throw them in jail. That's barely working. And now they sent a hit on them. And that's a liberal incel, Reddit moderator type dude. We all seen the picture, all right? That's not a Republican. That's not a conservative.
Well. You're saying all this.
Hold on, Nagon. Let me do the moderating.
You got it.
So,
but no, clearly that was liberal.
Ramil, hold on one second. This guy addressed the fact, right, which you're dismissing, but tell us why you're dismissing the fact that he's a registered Republican.
Because he only did that so he can vote against Trump in the primaries. He donated to the liberal. He put his money to the Democrats. So where your money is who you really. Tell me if you want to know something about somebody. Look at where they spend their money. He was a donor to the liberals. So that don't mean nothing. And people who register don't even be registered to the parties they're active with a lot of times. People register and they forget. So and clearly he has no aim. All right, conservatives are gun people. They're military. They have aim. All right, they do had a clear shot. Nothing protruding in the view. Nothing like that. A conservative would have made that shot. All right, so that's how he's clearly an incel, liberal, Reddit moderator. Now, as far as this election coming up, there's no way Trump loses. They didn't solidify him. Liberals got so thirsty and tried to get him killed. All that did was solidify his place in January. Dr. Thunder's right. There's a lot of Trump deranged syndrome. It's to the point where liberals want to see Trump dead. You got liberal politicians making tweets talking about oh man, too bad he only missed him by, too bad he missed him by 2 feet, making tweets, it's not real, dumb stuff like that. The liberals want to see Trump dead, okay? That is a truth. If he would have got killed, it would have been a lot. It would have been just like these black holes act when Kevin Samuels died. It would have been the same thing, all right? But my reaction, I wasn't surprised because people are willing to, what I've seen now, what the liberals are willing to do to try to win. I saw that thing in Atlanta at 3 a.m. on the last election night where they're when the whole thing suddenly flipped blue, I was up. I saw it. I was like, yo, ain't no way. And I know Atlanta how they finesse. There's no lengths they're not willing to go. They're willing to put rigged trials that's going to get overturned on
So,
appeal.
Ramil, 1 second. Let me get you to address one thing, and then we'll go to
Yeah.
LAR. Okay.
Okay.
So the fact is, Donald Trump came in right now via the election process. It's true, but he came in and he dislodged an entire establishment within the Republican Party. Right. Nagone pointed out the fact that there are people. It's not just people. There was, and a whole establishment, and he didn't kill them. They're still there, and the people that represent that whole wing, if you will, because the party was the Bush party before, presumably in shorthand, right? Was the Bush party. Jeb was supposed to be next. He came in and he threw a wrench at the whole thing, right? So how about the people from that side that are against him? And how about the fact that, they feel, they also would like maybe to take him out? What are your thoughts on that end?
It's not even okay. That's regular. Both parties have internal turmoil. There's people on the liberal side who don't even like Biden, so that's normal. That's not, that's not anything out of the normal to have internal turmoil within the party. So that's not a big deal. People, they, I had never seen they don't have the conservatives against Trump don't have Trump deranged syndrome. They're not crying and screaming and kicking like babies about the fact that Trump might win. It's two totally different things.
Okay. Excellent. And we're getting into it. Let me go ahead and give a shout out to the super chat. We got Ja Nzola, right? $50, heavy-handed, coming in strong on a Sunday afternoon. You must have a few brews in the backyard with the family. I know you like to avoid your family job, but you need to go. Anyway, I'm gonna stop. You're donating. I will be nice to you today, but thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and follow through with your super chats as well. $5, $10, $2. Ask a question. Give a shout out. LAR. Initial reactions to this thing, okay? And we're going to get into the particulars of this particular individual and some of the motivations that may have been there, the things that we know about him right now, some of the kind of discrepancies that we noticed regarding the fact that he was able to get up there. Dr. Thunder talked about the fact about the 3D printing gun and whatnot. We'll address all that. What are your initial reactions, though, to the video, to the fact that this happened? Go ahead, LAR.
Initial reaction, many men wish death upon me. Blood in my dog and I can't see. Okay, first of all, he is definitely the worst sniper of all time. Definitely. The second thing, this is what I mean by white people can get away with anything. Like, if you think about the security detail of the Secret Service and the military not being able to see this dude at maybe 200 yards away on a roof with a rifle, it's because he's white. It's just because he's white. It's I can just get on the roof, grab my rifle, go over there, and then people go, so nothing's gonna happen. It's white on white crime. They need to fix that in their community. This white on white crime goes election presidential like. They had the same thing when they raided those offices in Michigan. White people with guns and people not taking them seriously. Now, the other thing is, yeah, this probably solidifies Trump to win. Absolutely. But what intrigued me about the whole situation itself was, in all honesty, is how dumb it makes the military, the Secret Service looks, and how dumb if Trump wins the president, he will be. Because for one, like I said, y'all didn't do your job at all, which makes the military look bad, which makes it look like 9/11 all over again when, we knew those people was practicing to fly but not land. That's what this looks like to me. And the second thing, bro, if somebody tried to shoot you a couple of times with a horrible aim, why did you get up and fight your security to show your face? That is not smart.
He got a great shot out of it, though. We know that's what he does. That's why he went to North Korea, too.
Yeah, if there was another shooter, he would have got a real shot out of it. Like, these people is tripping.
It was worth it.
And the other thing is, I gotta say it. So all of these, you hit 2 people, 3, 4 people in the crowd. They ain't got nothing to do with this. And on top of that, I just want to know what all. I'm trying to be nice when that's why I keep pausing. I'm trying to be nice. Y'all, can anybody explain to me how all of these people in these small little rural towns, they're worried about immigration when it's their neighbor? Ain't nobody in that town taking your job, but your neighbor shooting at the former president. You're not gonna take any blame for this? But I'm done.
All right, and LAR, you gonna vote for Trump? What's going on with that?
You know what? I might give it a shot.
Good one. Might give it a shot indeed. Okay, so I'm gonna lay out a couple more facts here on the issue, and then we're gonna move a little bit into some commentary, right? So we talked about the former president crouching down, screams were heard, and all these other kinds of things that happened, right? Secret Service agents swiftly shared instructions such as, "We're clear, let's move," before they lifted up a disheveled Trump. Visible once more, around one more minute after the gunfire started. Trump said, "Let me get my shoes." That was I didn't know he said that. As the agents formed a ring around him. Now, it's another 13 seconds until Trump raised his fist to the crowd, right? This is the moment we're talking about with that picture, and that's going to be in every white bar, who responded with cheers, and they were shouting, chanting, "USA, USA." His MAGA cap in hand, onlookers chanted USA. Trump paused briefly to pump his fist in the air before stepping off the stage, and he mouthed out, "Fight," right? And he had to fight the Secret Service to do that and get his opportunity to get that photo op, and a great photo op, all things considered. Again, someone lost their life, and I'm not making light of the situation, but commenting on the different things that happened, right? So now let's get into the other aspect of this, and I'm going to start with you, Dr. Thunder, which is this is an ongoing investigation, right? We know it's an ongoing investigation, but there are things that we can speculate regarding possible motives, right? The suspect's background, possible international involvement, signs. Is this a sign that someone definitely thinks Trump's going to win? Why spend the political capital? Why take the chance or whatever if you don't think this guy is going to win, right? And I'm going to read a little bit about what we know about him. But before we get there, perhaps, Dr. Thunder, you can just kind of start us off on these speculations here regarding the guy's state of mind, his purposes, who may be behind him. Is he just an incel, like Kaizo said? Go ahead.
Yeah. So this is so like even like in the coverage, the live coverage when this just happened, and you see the commentators, you already hear them planting certain seeds so that they can potentially spin the story in whatever direction that they would like to. One of the things you heard them start saying was he a lone actor, right? So that was a tip to lone wolf, right? That's so that whoever it was that actually did this, put this guy up to this, they can, distance themselves from this, and they can present it like it's just a single crazy person. Okay. And I made a sort of a joke, but not totally a joke. The MK Ultra thing, this substance or drug or whatever that they can give you that basically scrambles your brain, makes you basically makes you overnight, makes you schizophrenic, right? And so potentially they could take someone that was already on the periphery, MK Ultra them, and then fill their head full of some stuff. They're super paranoid and say, you need to do this or else the whole world's going to blow up, X, Y, and Z. Now, I still don't think that somebody on the panel said that this guy was a bad shot. Well, the if you could call him a sniper, wasn't I don't think would have been a bad shot if they had a metal rifle, like a standard rifle. Now I haven't seen where they have indicated what the weapon was. I'm still going with the speculation that it was probably some sort of 3D printed sort of gun, something that he could get within close proximity. And I think the reason that other people were injured is because when they saw the shots come from wherever they came from, which was within close proximity, Secret Service, they eliminated the target, but there was also some other folks that were there. So that's what I think. That's what I.
So you're going with the multiple shooter theory here? Because first of all, I'm putting two things together. First, you mentioned that you thought this guy probably fired only 2 shots. The rest of the shots that were heard were from the Secret Service snipers taking the guy out. And then you mentioned people getting injured because there were possibly other shooters, or
no. I think people got injured because they were within close proximity of the shooter, and that's why I was saying that. See, that actually makes sense why there would be bystanders. Innocent bystanders that were taken out.
FYI, he was perched on the roof like a sniper with a rifle.
Oh, he was. He was. Okay. All right.
Yes.
The other thing that I saw that was sort of cleverly seeded in many of the initial thoughts were certain phrases that get used in these gun control debates. I fully expect that one of the things that the liberals are going to do, and it's something that they're going to have to do if they're going to be able to, if they're going to have any kind of chance. If Biden has any kind of chance, they need to spin this to a gun control debate. They must do that because that's the only play that they have. This ends up making Trump look like a superhero or something, in virile, young, strong, and we already know what the press is and what the visuals are on what Biden looks like. So it plays. Look, this plays right against the strength. It plays towards the strength of Trump and against the weakness of Biden at the same time, which is why I think that this is going to be a no contest. I think game over. I think that's it. I still thought that the election likely was going to be won by Trump, but now I think that it is possible that it could be like a landslide for Trump. That's what I think can happen. Now, again, I'm no Democrat or Republican. I'm third party, and I'm not going to vote for either one of these guys. But that I think that this scenario only plays positively for Trump. Now, I'm not going to say necessarily that the reason that Trump was USA was because he's some super patriot, some playing for the little guy, freedom and all that. I'm not going to say that. I think the reason that he did it is because the way that this guy is wired, he thinks about looking good and looking like he's some kind of tough guy. He cares about all that stuff. He cares about the optics. He cares about seeming like what can he say now? I'm the only president to survive an assassination attempt in the last make up a number. So it's just I just see him as that. This dude. I mean, you almost have to chuckle that this guy after being shot. Okay, dude just got shot. He is, and they don't know where the gunman is, right? They don't know where the shot came from, right? And it's obvious because you look at the Secret Service detail, and the guy with the gun that's in front of the stage, he's looking around like, it's like you don't know where the gun came from. You don't know if there could be more shooters. And this dude is trying to stick his head up to put his arm up to say USA, USA. It's like, I don't think that's because the guy is like a super patriot or some kind of good dude. I think like it's because he is so attention hungry.
Yeah,
he's profoundly narcissistic.
No, look, to put my cards on the table, and anyone who knows me or has listened to me for a few minutes will not be surprised by what I'm about to say. What he did is a plus in my book, right? Like, it is what it is. It's like, yeah, that's the move. That's what you're out there to do. You're out there to get a freaking shot, right? You're out there to kiss babies when the opportunity comes up. And if you're going to freaking risk your head to get a fist up there and take the shot, ha, 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 pour me another whiskey, right? I see no issues with it. I'm not going to become his priest. Well, I leave the rest to his psychologist and his wife and whatnot, but I'll let you land.
Yeah. So I just, it's a very strange sort of occurrence. I don't know that I blame his rhetoric or his politics per se for creating a hostile situation that came back on him. I'm not sure that that's the way I see it. I see politics right now on both sides as being really, really nasty. And it's one of the reasons why I think that more folks need to consider third-party options to diminish the amount of just nasty behavior from both sides.
Gotcha. So, I want to go to Nagone and then to Kaizo, right? Because right now what we're talking about is the shooter himself, what we know of him, right? I'm going to read a little bit here from the AP, and then we're going to continue. And ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the assassination attempt. A few weeks ago, we talked about the election debate, we talked about the debate between Biden and Trump. And our attention has been called again back to this presidential race, if you will, by this recent assassination attempt. We've laid down some of the facts, okay? And you can go brush up on the rest of the facts as this goes along. And I think that there is someone, or there's a place that's reporting that it's a semi-automatic. First of all, we do know that he was in an elevated kind of factory away from the rally, right? Which will call into question some of the things we're going to talk about regarding the perimeter that was set and how
that's sort of similar to what happened in Vegas, then, right? Because the guy was like,
correct,
up in
correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but the Secret Service is supposed to be, have to have a perimeter such that no one is supposed to have a range from an elevated position to have a clear shot, if you will. And there's certain criticisms which could be leveled against the Secret Service, and we'll get there in a second. The question, Nagone, is about speculations regarding his mental state, right? Possible international involvement and whatnot. But let me read a couple of paragraphs here. The 20-year-old nursing home employee from suburban Pittsburgh, right, who tried to assassinate former President Donald Trump, was a registered Republican who packed explosives in the vehicle to which he drove to the campaign rally an hour from home. Law enforcement officials were working Sunday to learn more. Thomas Matthew Crooks of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, to determine what motivated him to open fire on the rally. And this is what we're talking about. Nagone, what motivated him? This is pure speculation, but you take it where you will, sir.
To say what may have motivated him is very difficult to say. People, we looked at John Hinckley or whatever, who tried to, blow away, Ronald Reagan because he wanted to get a date or talk with some actress that he couldn't do, and wanted to impress her by doing that and so forth. So you see all kind of crazy reasons why somebody may do something. So very difficult to say. I do know, that he was a registered Republican. Back in 2021, he made a $15 donation to Act Blue. So that was 3 years ago, and that was for $15. 3 years in the past, he hadn't made anything else new from there. So people are trying to judge him. Well, he's been giving a lot of money to Republicans and all of that. Just not true. It's just something that he did on a one-time thing, from what we see, and that has been backed up certainly by the Federal Election Commission's filings. So that's what we've seen from him. So politically, he's kind of been all over the place. But let's just say where he is, where he lives, and that whole area is very. That would be a very conservative area, and how would we say that area also is very rural Pennsylvania, and tends to be a lot more red in that section, and that's what his father and his whole family is. So what may have driven him to do what he did? Very difficult. One thing I can say from the standpoint of the Republican Party, you have a big schism inside the party itself. You do have those who are vehemently or strong, really strong, the MAGA group, and then you have those who are anti-MAGA, that are in the Republican Party, and look at somebody like Trump, in fact, as a charlatan. Those inside the party who have very strong feelings against him, and even some of the evangelicals feel very much the same way, like the Pence side and all that. So you have some people who have some very, very strong feelings against him. You can't say, well, that's just normal. There's some people who really will react. And so this kid may have been one of these types of people who were just, went over the edge and reacted, especially, as I said, from that environment that we have now, that's politically charged, and and really heavily and set with a lot of violent rhetoric that some people are going to pick up on. And
so two things, real quick, Nico, if you don't mind reacting to these two things. Mm-hmm. The first one is, okay, let's say we take because I had you initially brought it up, and then I had kind of challenged Ramil with it, like, okay, this guy came in and kind of destroyed a particular establishment, which, by the way, I think somebody needs to do the same in the Democrat Party as well. And maybe they will be running a stronger candidate than Biden if somebody did this a few years ago. But that's a different thing.
Biden's president. He is the incumbent president right now. So, I mean,
I get it. But what I'm asking you to react to here is, what will somebody on the right hope to gain by knocking out Trump vis-a-vis their position as, like, okay, a Republican? Do they think Trump is ruined? Like, are they gonna? What hope do they then have? Right.
Well, what I'm thinking is, just if we take a look at the timing of this, is pretty funny, because you kind of look at this individual shooting down on Trump. And this is right before the Republican convention, so that could be a message. Hey, listen, man, Trump, drop out. We have there's a contingency of us inside the Republican Party that don't want you to run. So that could be a factor from there. There are those that do not think that Trump is even a legitimate Republican. They don't think he's conservative enough. They certainly don't think that from the standpoint of of spirituality and being, very fundamentalist in their views, that he's anywhere near anything like that. So there are those who have some real issues with that there on that fundamentalist side, even though it's racist and very white driven, of which Trump really is running as the last true white man of America. So that really tends to draw a lot of people in, but there are those who draw some distinctions from that as well. So this kid could be very fundamentalist in his views. Don't know. He could be, very, very, very disillusioned with, with him being really a conservative and not being a real conservative, and looking to trash the Constitution and make some other moves that they could look at really against what America really is all about. They could be looking at it from that perspective. It feels like he's got to be out of there. Get him on up out of here. So that these all could be what I would say motivations for why he may have wanted to to potentially shoot this man. But I myself would have really no idea what would have really driven him to have done that, because obviously I'm not down with political violence, and I don't see political violence as being very fruitful. But that could have potentially driven him. There are those inside of the Republican Party right now who are working against Trump. As much as the media says, and has all the he got all the MAGA guys and all them running around, sucking Trump's kneecaps. There are those who are not down with that currently. You have that schism inside of the party, so that could be
one last thing. I mentioned reacting to two things. So the last thing is this, right? Regarding the violent rhetoric from the other side, regarding all the he is Hitler, he deserves to be taken down, and hey, many celebrities and people whom rep that side saying he should be a martyr. I'll be glad if someone assassinated him. Some professor from Columbia said, and such and such and such and such. What do you have to say to that side, if anything?
I haven't. First of all, I've listened to the left and the right. I have not seen a whole lot of rhetoric about people saying go kill this guy and murder Trump and kill him and all this craziness. We're not seeing that. We're not seeing that certainly wholesale. We haven't seen like the January 6th people and all that kind of stuff going on. We have not seen a lot of this stuff going on from the right. The right may say, the left may say, hey, listen, we certainly don't like Trump. We don't want to see him around. But very few people are really calling for his death, doom, and all of this violence. And if there is, please show me where a lot of this stuff exists, because I am exceedingly aware of what's going on and read all the papers and stay very abreast of what's happening here. And we're just not seeing a lot of this extremely violent rhetoric coming from the left, as we see that's been coming from the right, which has been a very politically charged environment. So we've seen a lot of that going on. But as far as anybody talking about violence, or anyone talking about destabilizing the government and so forth by violent or by violent means, it's not supported. I certainly don't support anything like that, and I don't know anyone who I roll with, or people who I tend to read and look at heavily are actually in support of a lot of that. So I don't, there's no support for violence. Really, I don't think people are really looking to get into, there's going to be civil war. And we hear that all the time. That's coming from a certain demographic here in this country that I cannot say is far left consistently. You may have some of your, like the right likes to put out there, your Antifas and all that they use as a foil, but we certainly are not seeing a lot of that, like from the Proud Boys and from just so many other groups that are out here just really pushing that, and that's not to even talk about some of the extremist groups as we see, such as the Klan and the White Citizens Council and a lot of these other people that are out here saying a lot of very, very, very incendiary things that the press and so forth are really not pushing that heavily out front, because they want to keep that somewhat on the wraps, that are a big part of the support of MAGA at this stage. So I'm just calling it as it is.
All right. So Kaizo, your speculations, you started out the speculations regarding possible international involvement, the state of mind of the person that did this. Perhaps you may want to add other aspects to it as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I do think the easiest thing to sort of put on this is the whole party politics, right? And I do think it's relevant to obviously mention that Trump is not a party politician, right? He's not an establishment member in terms of going through the reins, first becoming government official in this area and then the next, and then holding all those favors for all these other people. That Trump is a billionaire, or at least his companies are. However, I think the main thing here is that it's kind of clear, right? Trump is technically an independent, just running as a Republican because that's the best way for both teams. And I think at this point, Trump is chaotic, right? He's not someone that can be controlled easily. So he's not really someone that they can rely on passing certain things, pushing certain agendas, especially now we're talking about geopolitics when it comes to America's foreign policy. So if you look at a few things, for example, Trump is very he's very pro-American, whatever that means. He believes America for American jobs and keeping things within the nation. If you look at the globalists, right, and all these sort of oligarchs, and this has been a talk for a while actually, they want to expand the American empire overseas and they want to move jobs all over the place. We're talking about Taiwan, semiconducting companies. We're talking about all these other companies all around the world, Coke, etc. And I do believe that Trump is going to kind of either slow down or hinder new contracts being signed and hands being shook, because he's not really willing to play the game in the same way that Biden or any of these establishment people are. So yes, I think this is definitely, from my opinion, something that was very, very much sponsored by these people. And also regarding the mental state of the guy who took the shot, like I said, this guy looks like an incel, right? I think the guy is not psychologically okay, whatever that means. And I think he was able to be either convinced or manipulated to do this. Perhaps there's benefits for his family. I don't know, but I don't think the guy did this alone. I don't think this was just one of those crazy, shooters. I think there's definitely more globalist agendas attached to it.
Excellent. So, Ramil, are you still there, Ramil?
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
All right,
Yes.
all right, all right. So, again, this is an ongoing investigation, right? But we can speculate regarding certain things that we don't yet know about the assassin, attempted assassin. He is no longer with us. Possible motives, possible things that you could say about his background, possible international involvement. Okay. Is this a sign that Trump really is a big threat out there to somebody somewhere? What are your thoughts about this?
Well, it's possible that high up Democrats might have put that hit in place, since they are willing to do anything to win. Lawfare, they're willing to try to send political opponents to jail. I wouldn't be surprised if he was, one of these liberals' retarded cousins. You know what I mean? Who they send on a dummy mission. But if with that being said, um, he's definitely not a Republican. I don't know why that's even being touted. This dude clearly has liberal tendencies. Like I said, with the not having aim of the gun, but this dude is really just somebody who has suffered from Trump derangement syndrome. That's what it comes down to. Liberals want to see Trump dead. I hear it all the time. The way they talk, all right, the way their actions with Trump, they try to lock him up on these frivolous charges. Liberals want to see Trump either in jail or dead, just like a nigga, all right, because they feel as though he doesn't want to acquiesce to all these silly ideologies we got popping up in this country. As far as the shooter, I just have two theories on it. One theory is that he's just some dude suffering from Trump deranged syndrome, probably listening to his mother and grandmother cry about how Trump's going to take away abortion, and he's taking that to heart, and he's trying to rob his mother and grandmother, and he's just a victim of these of the media saying all these things about Trump that's just not true, like him being a Nazi and him being Hitler and him being white supremacist. All this stuff is just not true. I think he could have been the victim of that, or he just could have been a retarded hitman of the liberals. I wouldn't be surprised they sacrificed him to get him out the paint. He could be an MK Ultra plant. He could be something like that. But it's like I said, it's still early in the game. But one thing I know for sure is that he was not a Republican, regardless of whether he was registered or not. There's people who registered when they first registered to vote. They had to put their party down. They forgot all about that. All right, they just did that because they had to put something down. He donated to the blue, to the blue. All right, and once again, the blue have a tendency to try to skirt the law to get what they want. They're like big babies. All right, and they got to be checked by somebody before they get out of control. Just like with the vaccine mandates, just like when all the other times they try to step on people's constitutional rights, they got to be checked. All right, because of stuff like this. I'm not sure. Those are my two theories on that shooter: either a Democrat MK Ultra sacrifice, or some dude who is a victim of Trump derangement syndrome because he's not intelligent enough to decipher the mainstream media's outlandish claims. So that's how I look at it.
All right. Shout out to you. And ladies and gentlemen, shout out again to Ja Zola with the $50 super chat. He's demonstrating that the super chat button is still working, and maybe YouTube won't block your super chat. Because right now I'm seeing that YouTube actually blocked a comment of mine in this. So I noticed something was going on earlier on today. I was in another channel. They were talking about this topic, and I would just say regular things, and I'll get blocked. And now my comment is being blocked on my channel. Interesting. So go ahead and super chat your comment.
Can I say one more thing, too, real quick?
Go ahead.
I don't know why we act like the left is not super violent. Like people don't die at their protests, get murked. Police officers don't get murked at their protests. You can't downplay Antifa. All right, can't downplay the new foundation of whatever.
Ramil, can you come up with many incidences of where this has happened?
Yes, David Dorn.
No.
The police officer, David Dorn, got murked.
I'm gonna answer that when it's my turn.
Come up with a lot of incidents of where a lot of this murking and a lot of this killing is going on, because it certainly is.
The Black Lives Matter protests,
the Black Lives Matter protests.
There were peaceful protests, but hold on, Ramil and the Gone. It is LAR's turn. It is LAR's turn. It is LAR's turn. So LAR, you know the topic. You know what we're talking about. We're speculating. Okay, and you can give your response to the back and forth that just happened regarding all the violence. And again, look, I can go and list the celebrities. Johnny Depp was one of them. I mentioned the professor from Columbia. It is very easy to talk fast and loose when it comes to Trump, right? And I'm talking about in general. I'm talking about Trump and the Trump derangement syndrome that Dr. Thunder alluded to. And people just say, hey, yeah, go ahead, kill that guy. It's horrible. After all, he is Hitler. If he is Hitler, he does not even deserve to be born.
You see it too, Ike.
Right?
You see those too. You see that too. You
so,
know what I'm talking
about. We know. But go ahead, LAR. Go ahead.
First and foremost, like one of those earlier things that was on the news story was he worked at an old folks home. So I mean, he don't like old people, man. He's sick of old people, man. You need to check on the people in their home. Somebody that I don't think that's the first person that he tried to take out. I'm just saying. Because we know, people in nursing homes get abused all the time. So I wouldn't be surprised.
All them elder abuse, you're right. They be in old homes doing all types of messed up stuff to the old people.
So he don't like old people. That's just what it is.
Well, you got to say that that Biden's in trouble.
Exactly.
Okay. He should have shot him first.
No. Biden's in trouble because Biden ain't going to Butler. I mean, he gonna sleep through that drive.
I doubt it, but anyway, go ahead.
As far as the if the man is a registered Republican, he's a registered Republican. You just got to eat that, okay? It's Republican on Republican crime with bad aim.
What about the donation? What about the donation to the liberals?
No. I'm gonna answer your question about the violence. First is this, because he's a Republican. Then we got to go back to January 6th. That was pretty much Republican. You get what I'm saying? Then let's just go. We can go further back when they held up the when they tried to kill the people in Michigan. Republican. Remember when they had the standoff in Vegas? Was that Vegas? And then stole a federal building? Yep, them was conservatives. Same group of people, by the way, on those two. Last time, and then prior to that, I sure do remember I sure do remember Obama getting shot at in the White House. He was in the window and they shot at the window and they didn't figure out it was bulletproof. And then he had another guy running the White House with a knife trying to find him and stab him. I'm just saying the violence. I mean, I don't know the guy who shot Reagan, if he was a Republican or not. But I will bet on it right now.
Republicans were shot at a baseball game in 2017. All right, crazy liberals shot that Republicans playing softball. In 2020, you had an anarchist who shot in the protest in Pittsburgh. I mean, come on, it's both sides. It's not one or the other. Both sides are unhinged. Liberals and Democrats. Democrats in North Carolina.
This is all you asked the question, I'm answering.
I didn't ask it. Somebody asked me the question.
Listen, I'm answering. So all I'm saying is, you could be on whatever unhinged side you want to be, but it's all unhinged. Okay? It's all unhinged. It does but do people have a longer history? I mean, I'm gonna be honest about it and say it this way. When it comes to political crime and people doing crazy stuff over quote unquote politics, that's a white people thing. White people always going crazy over politics, like something is wrong with them. They get a bug up their butt, and then all of a sudden, I don't like this guy, I don't like this policy, and they trying to. It's a white people thing.
You kind of disappointed me, LAR. I was waiting for when you were going to bring up white people. Usually, it's within the first 20 minutes of the show. There's a whole drinking game with when LAR is going to bring up white people, and there's a whole betting market out there in Vegas. But go ahead, land your plane, sir.
Yeah, okay, all right. All I'm saying is, the young dude don't like old people, and if you want violence, go to white people. They just make up reasons to be mad, and they willing to kill over a dumb reason. Antifa white people too, by the way.
All right. Now, the next part, which we're going to go into, and this panel and this conversation we're having so far might be a microcosm as to the answer to this question. And this question is about the political divide in the country. And is this an opportunity to come together and all those other kinds of things? And I think that this might be a good opportunity for me to play this clip from Joe Biden. Okay. I think that Joe did a pretty good job, as a matter of fact, looking presidential, looking coherent. He kind of redeemed himself vis-a-vis the conversation that we had about his performance in the debate, and being not all there, if you will. So he had a good message. He has given more speeches after this, or more commentary on this, but this is the first one that he did. Let's go ahead and play this.
Thanks for coming, folks. I've been thoroughly briefed by all the agencies in the federal government, but they learn any more than. Thanks for coming, folks. I've been thoroughly briefed by all the agencies in the federal government as to the situation, based on what we know now. I have tried to get a hold of Donald. He's with his doctors. Apparently he's doing well. I plan on talking to them shortly, I hope, when I get back to the telephone. Look, there's no place in America this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this. And I want to thank the Secret Service and all the agencies, including the state agencies, that have been engaged in making sure that people, and we have more detail to come relative to other people maybe injured in the audience. I don't have all that detail. We'll make that available to you. I may be able to come back a little later tonight, but we'll put out a statement if I'm not able to if it's not convenient for you all. But the bottom line is that the Trump rally was a rally that he should have been able to be conducted peacefully without any problems. But the idea that there's political violence or violence in America like this is just unheard of. It's just not appropriate. Everybody must condemn it. Everybody. I'll keep you informed, and if I'm able to speak to Donald, I'll let you know that as well. So far, it appears he's doing well, number one. Number two, that there's thoroughly investigating what happened to anyone else in the audience. We have some reports, but not final reports. And every agency in the federal government, I'm going back to my phone to speak with the federal agencies that are being put together again to give me an updated briefing. Does anything happen? They learned more in the last couple hours. So thank you very much, and I hope I get to speak to them tonight, and I'll get back to you if I do. Okay?
Mr. President, do you think it was an assassination attempt?
I don't know enough. I have an opinion, but I don't have any facts. So I want to make sure we have all the facts before I make any more comments. Thank you.
Yeah, so this was right when it happened, right? So he came out. I thought he looked pretty good. I thought he seemed sincere and all that kind of stuff, and he was rather coherent with his responses. Now, the question that we're talking about here, and I would like to start with you, Nagon. Well, you know what? Let's start with Dr. Thunder, rather. This is about the country coming back together, right? I kind of smirk a little, or maybe one can chuckle a little about when one says that, because this panel is showing that that's like an impossibility, perhaps. But will this further the divide in the country? Is this an opportunity for the country to come back together in the face of adversity? What does this have to say about the resilience of democracy and all that other kind of good stuff, Dr. Thunder? If you catch my drift, go ahead and react, sir.
Yeah, I said this. It might have been last week, but I've said this frequently on my channel and different shows. I think that I would get along with Biden. I think he has a certain reverence of. I mean, he's Catholic. No, he's not particularly consistent with the pro-life thing and being Catholic, but he's Catholic, and so we have some things probably to talk about. I'm Orthodox. He seems to be a family-oriented guy. Doesn't seem to be like a running around on his wife's babe hound kind of guy. I would probably feel comfortable having my kid with me, and like this, right? I expected him to say something that was more or less kind-hearted. That didn't, I think his character is to be pretty. He's a pretty kind-spirited guy. All right. Now, I think that sort of plays against him because I think as his energy levels have gone down, and him also being sort of kind-hearted and not his automatic tendency isn't to go sort of below the belt, as it were. Trump just goes right below the belt. That's where he starts, right? And so it's hard for somebody that their nature is not to do that, and then they have to kind of become someone else in those sort of debates, right? So I think that's part of what works against him. But yeah, I thought this was a good response. I thought that to what happened. Obviously, he's been being a little bit obtuse as far as not being willing to say that this was probably an assassination attempt, because if it was an assassination attempt, I actually think that again, I think that plays for Trump. If it, so I think, and he's been briefed as to the way that the optics are going to look. So he said when he said that he's been thoroughly briefed, it wasn't just about the the data, as it were, the facts, what it is that they know, what it is that's still speculation and they don't know yet. It wasn't just about that. It was also about, now you need to look this particular way. You probably don't want to say this. Be careful about approaching this particular topic because we're concerned about the way that the optics are. And they may or may not have been using those words when they described this to him, but everyone was aware that this could end up being a real, it could blow up, in the Democrat space, as it were. So he had to look, I think, which is, I think, pretty natural. When we say presidential, there's a particular thing that we mean. Biden is a good representative of that. As far as not going below the belt, saying things that seem to be appropriate. Now, there's a bunch of gaffes and there's a bunch of stuff where he's got slurred speech and he said some unfortunate things about young women and stuff. And there's a bunch of stuff like that. But when you talk about just being presidential, playing the part, being respectable, and basically not embarrassing, folks, then I would give him the nod there. But yeah, I mean, so I didn't have an issue with his response. I thought his response was fine. I did want to mention one other thing, and that is the use of this term conspiracy theory, or conspiracy for short. There's a lot of folks that think that by just saying, "Oh, that's a conspiracy," that somehow, because of this sort of kind of pejorative and inflammatory nature of that term, kind of labeling someone a conspiracy theorist or, someone that is peddling conspiracies, this kind of thing. People should understand that that term really only arose after JFK was assassinated, because there was a lot of really serious questions, and there still are, about what happened. And people that were asking questions about what happened and proposing that other things may have been involved. It might not just be the thing that the media is telling you. It could be possibly other things, factors. They were just labeled conspiracy theorists. And then that was the way to not have to actually address what it was that they were saying. So that it's just something to look out for. If rather than people addressing what it is that you're saying, they just call you a conspiracy theorist, or just say that's just a conspiracy, well, you still haven't addressed what it is that's being said yet. So you still have to actually present, some evidence for whatever your claim is, or just to be able to itemize and dismiss what it is that's being said. So I thought I said that.
Gotcha. And by the Biden campaign did remove some ads, call off some ads on TV, which I think was also a good move, right? Several ways one could interpret that. The basic trivial answer is, well, it is the decent thing to do. It'll make you look good, right? No matter how crazy or Machiavellian or insane, no matter how much of a psychopath you are, you're not gonna leave up some crazy ads while somebody just got shot and the whole country is kind of rallying around him and whatnot. This is the time to kind of rally around the things that we believe in regarding democracies and people not assassinating other people. Shout out to Nagone. Nagone doesn't want to assassinate Trump, right? I kid, Nagone. Yeah, I'm not coming for you. But let me come for you next, Nagone, as I said, right? As just to address the question here. Is you see any opportunity here for coming together, or perhaps an opportunity also for Biden's campaign to benefit from this? We understand that, when you come under attack, people will rally around you. So we understand the benefit that Trump might or will get from this. But what benefits can the country get from this, or is this a total negative from your perspective, sir?
I think, as far as this event happening, this will fade after the next media cycle, like most things. It's just like the debate. Like the debate has not been decisive as far as where we're looking at numbers and where this thing is really going to go. It's not decisive. Debates do not determine whether people will elect presidents or not. We've had some issues going on inside the Democratic Party with some people trying to break ranks for whatever reason. But as far as where we look at the numbers going so far right now, it has not been decisive. Will this win the election for Trump because somebody took a shot at him inside of his own party? Will that clinch it for him? It will not. What the president is currently doing right now is being presidential, as he should, taking leadership over what's going on currently in the country, putting, definitely coming out with a strong statement of condemning anything like this, which also says maybe, those on the other side may not have condemned this as deeply as what I'm suspecting as well. But we can't, I see the here nor there as of right now. But you have to be presidential during this point in time as to with respect to the events that have happened. So I think he's handled that well. Is he really going to pull the country together? Right now we're in a contentious period because there's an election. So do I really see that happening? No, not really. Will this, tamp down some of the extreme rhetoric and so forth that we've heard? It might, but we are in a contentious election, and the name of the game is the president needs to stick to his plan, stick with his campaign, and push forward and do what he has to do. Do I think this is really going to pull the country together in a big way? Not really, because we have the country pretty much divided. You have those on the Democratic side, Republican side. The key really are the middle of the road people. Not the MAGA people and the election deniers and all that, idiocy going on that side. But you have to look at, where the middle of the road people are, who are going to be a relatively smaller number. That's going to determine how a lot of this comes down. Your independents, which are certainly your largest part of the voting public currently right now. But is this going to sway them more so to move? And I think what's going to sway them a lot more is going to be the policies, the issues that are most important to them. Then besides somebody acting like a Superman or whatever, it's going to have to come down to their policies and issues, and that's what people are going to really be moving on, and that's what you're going to have to push. That's what's really going to be bringing people together or pulling people apart, is what's going to be important for the nation and how people see their their lives benefiting from these next 4 years of who's going to be president, and policies and so forth are going to speak a little bit louder to that. So, and it's going to be the independents. It's not going to be the far right or the far left. They're not going to be determining this. It's going to be those who are more in the middle, and that's where I think we're going to see some real surprises coming down the line for some of you out here. Anyway, so go ahead.
All right. Carlo, sorry. I missed your super chat somehow in the fracas. And you say it's a great conversation, and I do agree, and I very much appreciate the $70 outdoing the sponsor of the show, John Zola, with the $50 earlier, right? So both of you guys are out there outshining everyone. It's a good day. It's morning in America. Much appreciated, and I can now afford some dinner for my family. Shout out to you. Now, Kaizo, can you see any ways or speculate upon any ways that this could bring the country together? I kind of showed the idea of Biden coming out looking presidential, and maybe this thing resetting, his performance at the debate, right? Maybe other people will try to tamp down the rhetoric, right, going forward, and so on and so on and so on. Do you think there is an opportunity here for democracy to shine, Kaizo? If you still hear me, go ahead and chime in.
Yeah, I don't necessarily see a big orgy coming between the two sides. However, I think this will begin a conversation about what America has actually been kind of playing funny games, as I mentioned, prosecuting an ex-president over frivolous things, from my opinion, seems a little bit extreme. So yeah, I think there will be some kind of remodeling of America's sort of priorities, especially when it comes to foreign affairs. So definitely, yes, a lot stronger sort of nationhood, nation state again, MAGA, right? Make America great again. And I see that because, so, some questions were, was this an assassination attempt? I mean, obviously, right? Trump is a major political figure, and someone tried to kill him. So it definitely is an assassination attempt for political reasons. So if that's already correct, and the way Biden did look in that sort of briefing was pretty good, actually. It was very cogent, something that I noticed from the beginning. Yes, so I think this will allow America to realign itself quite directly, especially when it comes to states of security, nationhood, and all that kind of nationalism stuff going on. But however, when it comes to like domestic affairs, this will definitely trigger a few things when it comes to gun rights, gun controls, and of course we're going to see them because there's been certain conversations about printed guns, etc. And that's going to be a conversation for obviously more rigorous, rules around those things.
All right. Thank you very much. And not to be outdone, never shall she be outshunned, says she, with a 25, You know, she's making it rain, you know, with both hands, $20 on this hand, 25 in total. An iPhone user, so you know Apple got to get their 1 cent out of that. That's what Apple does. That's what Apple does, ladies and gentlemen. But shout out to Juju, very much appreciated. Always supporting, always welcome. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Now, Ramil, you know what the topic is at hand here. We're talking about the opportunity for things to come together, right? It always sounds like a platitude. It sounds trite, if you will. But can this heal the divide in the country? Is there an opportunity for the country to come together and against adversity, for the resilience of democracy to shine? Go ahead, Ramil.
No, it's not going to happen. Nothing's going to come together. It's probably going to get worse. You're dealing with people who are willing to try to get around the Constitution. You're dealing with people who are willing to try to throw people in jail on super frivolous things. You're dealing with people who try to assassinate people. You cannot reason with those people. The best thing to do is to generate a power base that you don't even have to be around these people. You're dealing with some deranged people. Okay, so you cannot come together with these type of people. They do not agree with law and order, and you just have to just understand that that's the situation. So you should probably get away from those people. So no, you can't. It's not going to come together. What you have going on right now is liberals kind of trying to clean stuff up. Like you said, Joe Biden had to take away ads because they're contributing to the Trump deranged syndrome. They got what the liberals are trying to do. They're trying to appear civilized. You know, Joe Biden gets on that press conference capping, like he really is saddened by this. Really, he's mad that Trump didn't get knocked off. You know, that's the only possible way they have a chance, because after that situation, there's no way they get any sort of victory in the fall. And if they do, everybody's going to know they cheated. All right, they didn't elevated the dude to a new level, trying to take him out. And so there's no bringing the country back together. I've heard people crying about Trump being in office.
Hey, Ramil, I just want to ask you: was January 6th justified? I said that's all I'm going to ask you. Was January 6th justified?
No, it wasn't.
Well, go ahead, Ramil.
No, I just want to I thought it was going to be a follow up. No, what was January 6th was dumb.
I think he threw you a softball, but go ahead.
No, he tried to catch me. He thought I was I don't. Them January 6th people need to be in jail. They need to be in jail.
No. You're talking about these guys are doing all this and doing all that. Was January 6th justified? You answered my question.
Okay, are the Antifa killings justified? Were the congressmen getting shot at the baseball game justified?
Antifa? No, I don't believe in any violence. I don't believe in any.
You guys have had it for a couple minutes.
I don't believe in any political violence. I don't believe in any of it.
Okay,
and I made that very clear from the get-go.
So the violence from the left is not justified as well. That's what you're saying. The violence from the left is not justified. That's what you're saying.
What did I just say?
I was just making sure we clarified.
What did I just say? You don't need to be clarified there. I said it straight out. I'm looking at what happened January 6th. We saw what happened. They were up in there flying the stars and bars and all kind of craziness, tore the joint out the frame.
Silly stuff.
And you know, I don't know about silly, because I think if any one of those congressmen or anybody got caught up in there, it wouldn't have been that silly.
No, it was silly. It was silly for them to do it. It was silly for them to run up in there. That was some stupid stuff.
You know, but anyway, you know, he's saying the left is doing all this, and these guys want to kill all this, and
well, the left uses the course of the law. The left uses the course of law to try to take out political rivals.
Is that accurate?
Yes.
Is that really accurate?
Yes. Because Trump's appeals getting overturned. His appeals getting overturned. The trial courts, the appeals court. I'm proving it now. The appeals court overturning.
You're not proving anything. What do you?
I'm literally. You said to prove that Trump.
What are you talking about?
Let me say it. You said to prove that the courts are being used against Trump. I'm providing you proof by his appeals being overturned from the trial courts. The trial courts were corrupt, so the appeals court had to come in and clean it up. Now, let me say this. If the trial courts were not corrupt, what
was appealed? What was appealed? What was corrupt, and they're cleaning up? What are you talking about?
The judge in New York whose daughter worked for Joe Biden. That's a conflict of interest.
What are you talking about?
You can't
You
talk
keep
over.
saying what I'm. You keep saying what I'm talking about. I'm giving you clear examples. The judge in New York's
All right,
daughter
you guys,
works for Biden.
the couple of minutes are over. So Ramil, you can land. You can go ahead and land your plane because
Okay.
the
Yeah. I mean, I
ball
was
is in
trying.
your court,
So
anyways.
like I
Yeah.
was saying. So you know, one of the examples. Liberals are using the courts of law, illegally, like the judge in New York who has a daughter that works for Biden. That's conflict of interest according to New York law. Literally, how it's read. But that's a whole nother story.
You don't know the law.
I will put it.
Nagon, take it easy. Let Ramil land his plane.
I do it for a living.
Okay.
Nagon.
You're a lawyer?
I literally do the law for a living.
You're a lawyer?
I'm a paralegal.
Okay, but are you a lawyer? Do you know the law? Do you know this type of case law?
Oh, really? Oh, wait. Hold on a second.
I have federal cases right now. I'm representing myself in federal court right now.
Ramil, please land the plane and stop.
I was trying to land it. He keeps on jumping in. I literally have. I'm winning.
I got you.
Okay,
I know.
listen.
But
I'm literally.
Talk to me. Ramil.
No. Go ahead.
I'm talking to Ike. I'm talking to Ike.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm out.
Because
So I'm saying
people think
you have
to be
regarding this thing. Go ahead and land your plane regarding this point.
Because people think you have to be a lawyer to know the law, which you're not. You're actually a citizen supposed to know the law according to the Supreme Court. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Everybody's supposed to know the law. All right, so let's just get that out the way. But as far as what I'm saying, I was trying to get it out. I was being interrupted. We're dealing with people who use the courts of law against political rivals. Okay, they try to circumvent the law by trying to pass illegal moratoriums. All right, you're dealing with people who would try to take you out. Okay, Hillary Clinton, how many bodies she got? How many bodies the liberals got on their hands? So, and I'm not even Republican or liberal, but I just, it'd be crazy to me when the left act like this stuff doesn't happen. Like it's just like, oh, look at the right. No, it's both sides. All right, but it gets crazy to me when the left just tries to ignore the stuff on their side. So to land the plane, as far as bringing the country together, it would never happen because there's just two different sides. It's not. I think it's going to get even further divided apart. And so the best bet to do right now is to stack your wealth so that you can insulate yourself from the craziness, because it's really going to be a class thing. So let the poor people argue about this stuff and kill each other. You need to insulate yourself. That's where it's going to head to. That's how I see it.
All right. So LAR, you get to give us kind of the last word on this round, and then we'll have a little final round talking about something slightly different and also with final thoughts. But
here, can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
And this is just to address something that was in the chat real quick. This will be quick. Mike V, good to see Mike V in the chat there. He says that McCarthyism was actually where the conspiracy theories started. Now, actually, that's not true. Actually, the term conspiracy theory dates back to at least 1863. So it's way prior to that. But my statement was about the regular usage of that as a strategy to silence folks that have a different view of events that occurred. And that really did take off with the JFK thing. So I'm aware that the term existed prior to, but the term was not weaponized in the way and in the manner that it was as a standard practice until after the JFK assassination. So that was actually my point. And then the last thing is there's other expressions in terms that get used that are along the same lines, calling people deniers and stuff. And the reason that has a certain negative or pejorative connotation is because the deniers that we're most aware of, or the one that seems to be the most, the biggest one that gets good is Holocaust deniers. And so then what the strategy is to use something that was effective in quieting certain voices, but using it against other things. So you've got climate deniers, you've got what is it? Election deniers. You have different things, but those expressions aren't arguments. They're just inflammatory pejoratives that don't actually do any work. It's like calling somebody name. That's all I want to say.
And that's a good addition. You know, these ad hominem tropes used in high school debates and whatnot don't really shouldn't actually move anybody with a couple of brain cells to rub together, generally speaking. But go ahead, LAR, the country coming together, right? Somehow you're going to blame white people or something. Go ahead, LAR.
No, the country's not going to come together. Absolutely not. There is no foreign entity to blame this on. So no. The other thing is, I wouldn't be surprised if people start putting out the thought that it might have been an inside job just because of how weird this whole scenario was. So, in my opinion, will this bring the country together? Absolutely not. Absolutely. Think about it. The country was probably together for maybe 2-3 weeks after 9/11, and then it went back to what it was. So is this gonna do anything? No, because he got grazed. He didn't even really get shot. He got grazed. So no, this is not a country of togetherness. It never has been, and it never will be.
Mm-hmm. Well, let that one sink in. No one seems to be. Nagone said it. Everyone said it. It's not going to be. And I agree. You know, it never has been. So the question in itself, you know, was a little bit of tongue in cheek. But we get moments here, such as, you know, Biden looking presidential, Biden seeming gracious, and Biden showing the best sides of his character. In other words, non-senile, cogent Biden is quite presidential, right? And if
Hold
you're
on for a
someone like
second.
me who
I'm sorry.
what? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Um, Biden had to look presidential and classy because he couldn't say the opposite.
Oh no, of course not, of course not. But I was about to qualify what I was going to say, or what I said about Biden being presidential, because some people will be like, "Oh, Biden is just like the Trump of the left." You mean Joe Biden, that guy that you know, we know Joe Biden's history. Okay, I'm not going to come for the guy, but he is that kind of a guy. But I was going to say that I'm a person that likes a little bit of rascality. Okay, I like a little scrapper. Go ahead and lie. You're not deceiving me. We know all of you MFers are lying anyways, right? It's the self-righteous liars, like, you know, that annoy me. The BSers like Joe Biden, which we know he has a whole history of BSing with his grades and his plagiarism and all that kind of good stuff. But still, I like him because he has the right balance of that realness. Pennsylvania. Oh, I forget what. My bad. Delaware, middle class type, but ambitious, full of himself, but can still be presidential type stuff. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we've talked about a few things on this, right? We've covered things that hinge upon, right, the initial incidents and the reactions to the initial incidents, the investigation and how we feel regarding the shooter and the motivations of the shooter. And now, while there are other things that we could touch on, the time is far spent, right? The time is far spent. So I would like to give the panelists an opportunity to give their closing thoughts on the whole thing, on the whole thing, the reaction to the thing, the possible repercussions regarding the election. Will this help Biden? Will this help Trump? What's going to happen next? We did not get to the thing that we did not get to address, and maybe we can address in a future session when there is more information, is the security breach. Is the fact that somebody was able to get high ground in somewhere where they were supposed to put a perimeter around, where you're not supposed to have high ground, on a clear site of the former president. There was also something about the fact that there was a request for additional Secret Service for Trump, and that request was denied. None of these facts mean anything as of yet, right? I'm just talking about the things that we did not put on the table, and that's the security breach, the Secret Service. People have talked about the fact that DEI may be to blame for this. The Secret Service is trying to hire women. We saw the woman, right? We saw the woman in that picture. And even if you say, hey, women can do the job, one thing that does happen when you have to rush to meet a quota is you might drop your, shall we say, requirements, right, in order to get there. This doesn't mean anything, and this is not borne out, if you will, in terms of the discourse. I'm just talking about the things that we have not addressed. But let's get right to it, beginning with Nagone. Go ahead and give us your total final thoughts, put a capstone on this whole conversation which we've had. Thank you very much, sir.
Hey, listen, once again, thanks for inviting me up, and thanks to talk with the panelists, Ramil and Dr. Thunder, and who else is here? Of course, my man LAR and all. So you guys are good guys for sure. What I would say here right now is, we're going. This is a very interesting time. We're coming through. It's a contentious period in our history. I do believe, that there has been, definitely on that MAGA side and so forth, it's really pushed up and amped up some very, very aggressive rhetoric, which has brought us, which is and led by Trump. I think it's really put us in a tight spot where some of these how would I say, roosters have almost come home to roost a little bit on their chicken coops a tad bit here, and it's a contentious time. Will this be decisive as far as how this presidency is going to shape, how this presidential election and who's going to get elected and all that? Is this going to be decisive? I don't think so. I tend to go with history and look at what's been happening as far as your economy, overall, jobs reports, these types of things, and crime levels. We look at all these different things and put on how people are ultimately really feeling behind that, and how the presidents more or less get reelected. From that perspective, Biden doesn't look exceedingly bad. We haven't had, like with Trump, a total failure with COVID, and the economy fell out, and just a man who was elected to deal with a very difficult situation. That's what you're supposed to do. Even though I myself do not like Trump, had Trump handled COVID very well, I would have actually voted for him. I would have held my nose, but I would have done it. But he's shown that he wasn't able to really deal in a situation where there was a lot of where there was a tremendous amount of trouble going on in the country, and this wasn't handled properly. So would I want to see him in there again, and something else could happen like that again? Hell no. But will we get through this as a country? Yes, I believe we will. I think things will hopefully move somewhat positively in the future, and where this really ends up is difficult for me to say. I like to be rather hopeful, but in all honesty, I think we've got a little bit of rough road ahead of us. I will certainly say that. I think this assassination attempt and all that was terrible. I do not support anything like this. I think this was horrific, and hopefully we don't see anything like this come about again. Certainly, and hopefully we can, at least come together on that. But pretty much, I just hope I think hopefully we all get through this, and we all find ourselves healthy at at the end of this year, and
it's interesting to go on.
Yeah.
I would almost think that you should like Trump. You're a salesman. I know you're a recruiter, and you recruiters are salespeople, and you do like to butt heads. You do like to kind of shove your way in there. But
I think Trump. I'm a fighter. I like to stomp. I like to smash heads, bust ass. So I love that. That's I'm built for that. Okay. But at the end of the day, looking at Trump, I think he's got some very serious issues. I do not see him as an effective leader. He had the opportunity to lead, and he didn't do jack. Would I like to see him? And would I like to see him at that point again? No. He did say he wanted to be a dictator and wanted to basically get reelected for revenge. I have seen no policies coming out of this guy or anything. To trust him, no, I don't. And the deep study I've done on this guy, no, I don't. I wouldn't want to see him come through here again. That's just my view, and others have their views of what you're able to have. But no, I'll do everything I can from my standpoint to see to it that he doesn't get back in. But if others want to certainly see that, that's fine. But anyway, no, he did. He's
All
definitely
right.
not. He's definitely not my guy. But anyway, go ahead.
No problem, no problem. We're let me see here. I think we're gonna hear from Ramil next, right? And it's just closing thoughts. I do have a thing to do on the hour, so I'm a bit distracted. Sorry.
But anyway,
Ramil, closing
thank you.
thoughts.
But anyway, thank you very much, and all you gentlemen, good evening.
Yes, good evening indeed, Nagon.
All right, all right.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace, Nicole.
Yeah, yeah. Real quick,
Shoot.
closing thoughts.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, real quick closing thoughts. So like I said, I'm not surprised at this. The left is willing to do whatever to win when they see that they can't do it fair and square. So it is what it is. I would even say to Republicans, if he does get it, well, when he does get elected, he should go for revenge. He should lock some people up, and he should, do what they did to him. You don't let people play with you like that with these frivolous charges and these, you know, he should get revenge. That's why I'm at with that. Because he is going to get elected in November, and I'm willing to bet anything on that, just because of the optics. It wasn't dumb for him to stick his head out. It was a risk he took to get a photo op that's going to benefit him many generations down the line. Sometimes you got to take that risk. But like I said, he does deserve another 4 years in office, just like Biden even deserves another 4 years in office, because that's a constitutional right. And so I would just say, let him do his thing, let him get his 4 years and get him out of there. For everybody who doesn't like him so much, I'm hearing crazy stuff. Oh, he's going to take away rights. He's going to do all of that. No, he has a constitutional right to 4 more years. Let him have it. And, y'all can put back in your whatever fairy candidate you guys have. So, but at the end of the day, regardless of who's in office, having skills and having something where people are going to pay you for kind of alleviates you and insulates you from all of this. So that's the most important thing, because whoever's in office, I'm gonna get it. Yeah, but even though I like Republican policies better because it's way better for entrepreneurs, tax cuts, like, I heard Trump didn't pass any policies. The Jobs and Tax Cuts Act of 2017 is one of the best laws ever created. But that's for another stream. But I do like Republican policies. But at the end of the day, no matter who's in office, I'm gonna get it. So that's why I'm at with it. Appreciate you guys for having me.
All right. So, Kaizo, low energy Kaizo today. Non-wild, non-leprechaun, non-joker Kaizo. No jokes, no back and forth with LAR Kaizo. What are your closing thoughts? He gone, just like his daddy. Oh, that was mean. But he seems to be gone, just like his daddy. But
yeah, he put in the comment that he didn't have a
okay.
concluding
Oh,
statement.
my bad. Oh wow, I didn't see the comment, and I just came and I just came in and I wrecked him. Anyways, go ahead, Mr. LAR. What are your closing thoughts?
You know what? I'm gonna keep it short and sweet, and just say that this is another example of how we say we're the greatest nation on the planet, and publicly you see the dumbest stuff possible and what you think would be the most high security, high IQ, I got it together type situation. So I'm gone like Kaizo Daddy. I'm done.
Woo!
Peace out, LAR.
It's peace, LAR. It's funny because it's true. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Dr. Thunder. Close us out.
That was very Trumpian of you. And let's see. Yeah, this is it's just interesting that folks they're insisting that political violence is more present on the right than it is on the left.
You're gonna have to show us a list, a long list, Dr. Thunder.
Yeah. Well, here's the
I mean,
thing. Um,
sorry, Dr. Thunder, just to kind of interject the point in here one more time. It's like, I mean, we hear it all the time. It's not like people are not constantly talking about how Trump doesn't deserve to live. I mean, what is that then? Like, anyways,
right.
I'll shut up. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So, so one of the things is, uh, I mean, in the dating environment, uh, I mean, you have a lot of women, girls in their profiles that in their dating profile it'll say you can't be a Trump supporter. I don't know what you call that. I don't know what you call that. Also, in in my own career, the folks that have done the most dirt to me, political violence to me, not physical violence, but political violence, attempted to get me canceled, doing underhanded, sneaky, snake in the grass kind of stuff to me, have been liberals. The tendency I've experienced is that the more conservative minded folks will tell me to my face that they don't like me, or they'll say, I don't appreciate you saying this, or I don't appreciate you saying that. It's these weasel folks on the left that I've noticed that will use laws, use policy, will um, use all kinds of sneaky stuff to try to get at you. Um, and yeah, and that is it's exclusively been uh, folks on the left. The ones that I've been aware of, that I've known that are doing certain things, has exclusively been folks on the left. I mean, I could go into detail about some stuff regarding um, my promotion, regarding other aspects of my job where I work, in academia, and just the kind of underhanded, sneaky stuff that happens with irregularity. And and I'm not even, and I don't present myself as a conservative or as a Republican. I just happen to have some conservative and traditional values, but that's that's enough for them to come after you. So I think it's totally hogwash, and it seems to me it's a bit obtuse, and it's like gaslighting to try to act like you don't see that on the left. Um, I think both parties are pretty despicable, um, and pretty despicable, and we got to do something to eliminate, uh, this sort of bad behavior by both parties. I think what that would have to be is you'd have to get a critical mass of folks that are willing to vote third party. I think that's the only possibility. The second possible option would be for black folks to just say, I'm just going to vote Republican. And in one particular election, black folks just vote all Republican. So then what happens is, now it's not locked in that black folks are going to vote Democrat. So now they'll have to actually, straighten up and fly right. So I think that could, of course, that's never going to happen. Neither one of those scenarios is going to happen. So we're cooked. That's basically what it is. And like I said, I'm not a Republican. I'm not voting for either one of these. Uh, what do you call them? Old people, whatever the old term for folks is. I'm not voting for either one. But yeah. Anyhow, that's all.
That is all, folks. That is all. So we got another one in the books. Shout out to Kaizo LAR, Dr. Thunder. Okay. You can check out this show on Dr. Thunder's channel, on my channel. Every Sunday, we alternate 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Case closed. Highest level conversations on the most relevant topics in this space. And with that, we're out. We're out because we did cover, even though not completely, because it's an ongoing investigation, the assassination attempt, the ongoing news right now. And we had many generous sponsors. Okay, we had Juju Bean coming through with the $25. We had John Zola hitting us heavy with the $50. And we had Carlo with the $70. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are out. Peace.
Peace.
In the den of iniquity, vicinity no pretty, calamity fi hit we any moment, what's a pity. Tomorrow never certain, what was behind the curtain, the face of evil smirking with that shifty eyes averting. It's not a steady bubble, that either pop or topple, many will fall and stumble, let the dozers gather rubble. From LA to Colorado, Guinea to Burkina Faso, cannons will breach the towers and the troops will storm the castle. Hey, I say, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. So run, come, make we get it. Calling all your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. I say, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. Lord, run, come, make we get it. Calling all your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. With the rubble steady rising, and hearts are compromising. Convictions here are stifling, making evil appetizing. The fists are steady forming, and countenance is falling. Defenses are withdrawing, possibilities are falling. In these your circumstances, evil will make advances. Pick up your sword and lances, and be sure to take your stances. Victory is never promised, the battle is upon us. Gather the brave and honest, and the righteous in your corners.